G'day and welcome to Disc Golf Down Under. It's Matt here, and this week we're doing a tech review, which is a bit unusual for a disc golf channel. But when you're out on the disc golf course, a lot of disc golfers like to listen to music. And I guess there's two ways of doing this. The first way is to get some earbuds or some wireless headphones and listen to the music by yourself, which cuts you off a bit from your card mates. Or the other thing you can do is get yourself a Bluetooth speaker and share the music with the group. So this week I'm looking at a Bluetooth speaker that I picked up off Amazon, which I'm really impressed with, so I thought I'd share it with my golfing buddies. And what I'm looking at is the Tribit Stormbox. So let's jump into it. So as always, this is an honest review. I'm not receiving any compensation for this. I picked up my Stormbox off Amazon for 75 bucks. If you want to help the channel out, there's some affiliate links in the description down below. Doesn't cost you anything extra and will help me out. But I thought I'd run you through the process that I went through when I was researching Bluetooth speakers and why I picked the Tribit Stormbox. So firstly, what is a Bluetooth speaker? Well, unless you've been hiding in a cave for the last 10 plus years, you've probably seen one of these little devices. And I had an old Sony one, quite a small one. Basically, they're a rechargeable battery with a speaker attached and a Bluetooth circuit so that you can connect your mobile device or your tablet. And I was looking for a replacement for my Sony Bluetooth speaker. It's a little bit old now and the battery doesn't last very long and the sound wasn't great either. So I started looking around, doing some research and looking at a mid-sized speaker. I didn't want anything that was too small and tinny sounding, and I didn't want to lug around a massive big boombox either. So I was looking for something around the half-kilo mark, fits nicely in the hand and can attach to the disc golf bag and not weigh it down. And I also wanted something that I could listen to in the garden or out when I'm working in the shed or when I go out to the beach, etc. So I set a budget of about 150 bucks. That's what most of the half kilo Bluetooth speakers were selling for. And I started doing some research online. So let's have a look at the range. And I guess the two that come highly recommended in that $150 Aussie dollar mark is the JBL Flip 5, which sells in Australia for about 140 Aussie dollars. And the other one is the Ultimate Ears Boom 3, which good price in Australia at the moment. It's about 168 Aussie dollars, but you might pick those up a little bit cheaper. So Ultimate Ears is a brand of Logitech's, so both pretty good quality products, JBL and Logitech. And another option in the Ultimate Ears range is the Wonder Boom 2, a slightly smaller Bluetooth speaker, sells for around about $98, but from what I've read in the reviews, quite good sound. There's also the Sony SRS XB23, which sells around the 150 Aussie dollar mark as well. And with a little bit more research, I also discovered the Anker Soundcore Flare 2, which sells for about $120 on Amazon. And it also gets some very good reviews. There's also some other options. There's some options from Sonos and Bose, but they are really expensive. They're in the $200, $300, up to $600 range. And really that was just out of my budget. So that's why I'm not talking about those types of Bluetooth speakers in this review. And I decided after some researching that the JBL Flip 5 was the speaker that I was going to buy. But just before I purchased it, I discovered another one called the Tribit Stormbox. And started looking at some reviews and I thought, well, this is actually quite good. So let me run you through some of the comparisons with the other speakers. So we've already talked about price and you can see that the Tribit Stormbox has a good head start on the other competing speakers. If we look at power output of the speakers, the Stormbox is 24 watts compared with the Flip 5, the Soundcore Flare 2 and the Sony ones, which are 20 watts. It's a bit hard to tell what the Ultimate Ears Boom 3 and Wonder Boom 2 are. They don't report a power output RMS value. They report in decibels, so they're reporting the Boom 3 at 90 dB C scale and the Wonder Boom 2 at 86. Next is we can compare the Bluetooth versions. So the Tribit Stormbox and the JBL Flip 5 use Bluetooth version 4.2, whereas the other options in my comparison are all running the later version Bluetooth 5. So range-wise, the claimed range on these speakers, the Stormbox has a claimed range of 20 meters or 66 feet, which is the same as the JBL Flip 5. The Ultimate Ears Boom 3 has a bit more range than that. They're claiming a 45 meter range, 150 feet, and the Wonder Boom 2 at 30 meters or 98 feet. The Flare 2 is the same as the Stormbox, and the Sony sits in between at around about 30 meters. Battery-wise, they're all fairly similar sized batteries. The Stormbox has a 2600 milliamp hour battery. The JBL Flip 5 has a claim battery that's 4800 milliamp hours, and all the other options are in around that 2600 to 2800 milliamp hours. So they've all got plenty of life. And that comes to the battery life. The battery life is claimed in the Stormbox at 20 hours. Compared with 12 hours for the Flip 5, 15 for the Boom 3, 13 for the Wonder Boom 2, 12 for the Flare, and same for the Sony. Next, moving on to waterproof. And all of these speakers are waterproof. They are either IPX7 or IP67, which means that they can be submerged to 1 meter depth for 30 minutes. Charging time, they all range from around 2.5 to 4 hours. The Tribit Stormbox is a little bit on the long side at 4 hours, but not a major issue. Dimensionally, they are all very similar. Most of them are a cylindrical shape, so they're around about the 60 to 75 millimeters diameter and around about 180 to 200 millimeters long. And weight-wise, they're also very similar. Stormboxes are 544 grams or about 1.1 pounds. Similar to the Flip 5, the Boom 3 is a little bit heavier, the Wonder Boom 2 is a little bit lighter. Flare 2 is a bit heavier, as is the Sony. So looking at the reviews online, this is what got me interested in the Stormbox. The Amazon ratings for the Stormbox were 4.6 out of 5 with over almost 3,500 reviews. So that's quite a good rating. And Review Geeks Online also rated this Bluetooth speaker at 9 out of 10. Let's look now at some of the features of the Stormbox. And first of all, color-wise, it comes in two colors. It comes in either this really bright blue or your standard black color. Not a huge range. Some of the other brands like JBL, they might have 10 or 15 different color options. So if you want something with color, maybe the Stormbox is not for you. But yeah, I went with the blue, something a little bit different to the boring old black that you normally see. It comes with a micro USB cable for charging and a lanyard so that you can clip it onto or attach it to items. And it also has a user manual that comes with it that explains all the different functions. But it's fairly straightforward. And it's common sense just to how to operate this thing. So the Stormbox is a 360-degree speaker. It has two active speakers, so they are located on opposite sides of the device. So the two active ones throw out either side. And there's also two passive speakers at either end as well. So they pump out a bit of more the bass sounds. This is a mono speaker on its own, but if you want to get stereo sound, you can get two of them and pair them up together and they will give you stereo sound. There's also a bass function on this. There's what's called X bass. So there's an X bass button there that you can turn on, and that boosts the bass a bit more. It's not hugely noticeable. You can notice that the bass does go up, but really doesn't make a massive difference. But the bass on its own is quite adequate. There's no issues with that. It's got a nice deep bass sound, so no complaints there. Volume-wise, I wanted to compare this with some of the other speakers, and I actually happen to have a sound pressure level meter, so I was able to play some pink noise through this speaker and recorded it at 90 dB on the C scale, which compares exactly with the Ultimate Ears Boom 3. So no issues with volume with this speaker. You can turn it up to max and it's quite loud. It does get a little bit of distortion at max volume, but no complaints with the volume on this speaker. The next main feature in this speaker is that it's IPX7 waterproof, and that means that it can be submerged to 1 meter depth for 30 minutes and no issues. And I dropped mine out in a bucket of water while it was playing music, and it continues to play, and it actually floats, which is good. So if you happen to be out, if you're boating and kayaking or whatever, and you drop it in the water, it's not going to sink to the bottom like some of the other speakers do. This one will float on top. So nice little handy feature that. I did find that the Bluetooth does get cut off by the water, so your range is not very good in the water. But this is not really a speaker that you want to be playing in the water. It's just one of those things, those features that if you happen to drop it in the water, it can float. If you are out in the rain, you don't have to be worried about this getting wet. As I mentioned, this runs on Bluetooth 4.2. The result of that is that the range is not as good. Bluetooth 5 has a better range than 4.2. And the claimed range on this by Tribit is 20 meters or 66 feet. I took this outside just to give it a test out and attached to the side of my golf bag, line of sight, 40 meters I got before the signal started to drop out. And that was with both an Android, modern Android phone and an iPhone as well. So they both gave very good range of 40 meters. If I had the speaker on the other side of my golf bag and my body between the phone and the speakers, the range was reduced to around about 20 meters, but that's still heaps. So if your music's still playing at 20 meters away from your speaker, that's great. So battery-wise, this has a 2600 milliamp hour battery inside. It takes about 4 hours, maybe a bit more than that, to charge with the supplied micro USB cable. You just plug it into the micro USB charging port in there, plug it into a charger, and away you go. So that's under a little flap that keeps it waterproof. And next to that also is a 3.5 millimeter plug as well. So that will allow you to plug in other devices that don't have Bluetooth, which is a great feature. A lot of other speakers out there don't have the 3.5 millimeter jack. Tribit claim that it has a 20-hour battery life, but this of course is probably when it's playing at minimum volume. I haven't worn my battery out yet. I've had it playing for a number of hours and yeah, it's still showing full charge on the LEDs. Other people online have said they get at least 12 hours at max volume, some up to 16. So yeah, plenty of life, and that is quite good. So you can check the battery level when you turn the device on. So you hold the power button and you'll see the LEDs will light up, and that tells you how much charge it has. So this one is still fully charged, and as I mentioned, I've been playing this for a few hours. Also other buttons, you've got your extra bass button here, so you can turn that on or off. And you've got your Bluetooth pairing button here. So if you want to pair it with your device, hold that or double click that, puts it into pairing mode, and then you can connect your mobile phone very easily. No issues with pairing. I paired 3 different devices, 2 Android and iPhones without any issues at all. On the other side of the speakers, you've got your volume up and down, nice big plus and minus, no guessing what they do. And then you've also got another button in the middle, which is for the smart assistant. So if you've got a smart assistant like Siri on your Apple phone or Google, or even it works with Alexa as well, you can hold that down and talk to your Bluetooth speaker. And if it's within range of your phone, it will work with Siri, Alexa, etc. What is the time?
It's 4:41 p.m.
What is the capital of Australia?
Canberra is the capital of Australia.
So overall, this is very easy to operate. There's no guessing on what the buttons do. We've only really got the 3 buttons on the back: power, pairing, and extra bass. And then you've got your volume up and down and your smart assistant. So yeah, very easy to run. Okay, so we'll just show you how easy it is to, so we'll just fire it up, hold down the power button, it turns on. It will pair automatically with my phone. If it's been connected, there it goes, it's paired. And then I'm just going to start some music. And I'll turn it up to max volume. So plenty of volume. You can notice that the sound comes out of the 2 side speakers. So I wouldn't say it's fully 360 degrees omnidirectional, but yeah, it's not bad. The sound doesn't vary too much as you spin it around. And you can see that the passive speakers inside are pumping away with the bass sound. But sound-wise, if I turn the extra bass boost off, see it goes a little bit more treble, but not a huge amount of difference between the bass boosts on or off. But yeah, it's got plenty of bass as it is, so no real issues there. So the pros of the Stormbox. It's got very good sound, good quality sound, and this gets rated well by a lot of the audiophile sites like What Hi-Fi, etc. They've given it good ratings. I agree, I'm a bit of a music snob myself, and I think that the sound that comes out of this is very good quality. Volume is more than adequate, and I love the bass sound. The Smart Assistant link is a great feature, not that I'll be using it much, but it's there. And I also love that it's got the 3.5mm jack that you can plug into older devices too. Range is more than adequate. 40 meters is huge, no issues with range. And also another bonus is that it floats in water, so that's always good too. There are a few cons with this device. Apparently I've heard that the battery, like all lithium batteries over time, they do degrade as they get older. Some people have reported that after a couple of years that the battery life is maybe down to 6 to 8 hours. But yeah, that's typical of most electronic devices these days. Also, there is no app with this device. It's just simple, pair it with your mobile phone and it will just play the sound. So if you're looking for an app with maybe an equalizer, well then the Stormbox doesn't have that. There is some distortion at max volume, but again, that's something that you might see with most Bluetooth speakers. It's not something you really want to drive this speaker at max volume, but that max volume is quite loud. And also cons, apparently this one does take a little bit longer to charge than the other competitors. It is reported at 4 hours, and I think when I charged mine up from empty, it did take probably closer to 5 hours. So if you want it to charge quickly, maybe a bit of a con, but again, it's something that I would just plug in, leave overnight. The last con is that it uses Bluetooth 4.2, which has less range, but really that makes it more compatible with the older devices. And range-wise, I didn't really have any issues. I thought 40 meters is actually quite good. So final words. Well, if you're looking for a nice, good quality Bluetooth speaker that you can take with you out on the disc golf course, listen to your tunes, the Tribit Stormbox is definitely worth having a look at. And at the price, at 75 Aussie dollars, it's just way better than the competitors. You know, you're spending double that for a JBL Flip 5. So if you want to, you could spend twice the money. You could get 2 of these for the same price if you want that stereo sound, or save your money and spend them on discs instead. Also, Tribit have just released a newer version. They've replaced the Stormbox Micro, which is less weight, it's smaller. Supposedly it has the same volume, so that might be worth checking out as well. And it's been getting some great reviews on the audiophile websites. So if you want something that's a little bit lighter, check out the Stormbox Micro. So that's it for the review. Hopefully you enjoyed my review of the Tribit Stormbox Bluetooth speaker. If you did, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. What do you think about the Stormbox, or have you got some of the other Bluetooth speakers? Let us know about whether you think the Flip 5 or the Charge or the Boom or the Wonder Boom are worth it as well. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and stay up to date with Disc Golf Down Under. We've got a huge giveaway starting next week, so you don't want to miss out on that. So that's it for this one. Enjoy your tunes while you're out on the golf course. Good luck while you're out there as well, and we'll catch you in the next one.